Hello everyone, and welcome back to PLD Disc Golf. I have a special video for you guys here today, the 309 Spring Fling, hosted by 309 Disc Chuckers. This was a tournament that was hosted March 18th and 19th. I've got the MPO lead card, final round, front nine for you guys. We're here in Morton, Illinois at Northwood Black Longs. I also have a special surprise for you. Joining me here on commentary is my brother, Payton Drake.
Hello.
Joining me again after our commentary for the fling at the Double Horseshoe Farm. Following up with our final round leaders, so we got Phil McGuire, KO Sabengsy, Alex Anderson, and Dawson. So it is following a very frigid Saturday this Sunday on March 19th. The temperature is 38 degrees, wind was about 7 miles an hour, and it's pretty mucky up here after the freeze that we had. So just enjoying the wildlife while we're out slinging discs. So.
Kale, Alex, and Dawson, I believe.
Did you have to add all of us?
No, I didn't have to.
You did not?
Go to round 3, dude.
Oh,
skip.
round 3.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
yeah,
I see it now.
All right.
Thank you.
So Lilith Insider here on commentary. Olson has never played this course before, and he does not know what the results are for.
You didn't have to tell him that, but fresh eyes, I can analyze as I see it happen.
Yeah, so here we are, hole 1, just got a view of all the players.
Hey, Phil McGuire,
Phil
Peoria,
teeing
Missouri.
off.
Shout out St. Louis Disc Golf Club,
Right.
sponsored by Gateway Disc Sports, Smoking Aces Disc Golf, and Don't Panic Disc Golf.
Actually, I'm going to cut the audio for this part right here, just because I want them to
Be able to hear that?
Yep.
Looks like he turned that over a little farther than he wanted to there. Looks like you probably want to keep this one
Hey,
low.
Kale Sabengsy. I'm from O'Fallon, Illinois, St. Louis area. For those who don't know where O'Fallon, Illinois is at, I'm sponsored by Team Ledgestone, Ledgestone Insurance. And
interviews.
yeah, let's get it going.
It's hard. I would have like hole previews where I get to actually talk about the hole and the shot that's needed, but I don't have flyovers right now. And yeah, that's what we got so far. KO.
I'm Alex
he's-
Anderson. I'm from Quad Cities, Illinois.
He's in his
I'm
freeze, I think.
sponsored by Team Iron Lion.
I feel like I've seen him before.
All right, so with Alex teeing off here, piping looks to be a great shot here. Hole 1, 455-foot par 3 here. You just want to do exactly what Alex did. Just a slight.
Dawson Snelling from Moline, Illinois. Sponsored Finish Line Disc.
Dude, Dawson. All right, so we're back here with commentary. Hole preview, 455-foot par 3. You just want to do what Alex did. Let's hope Dawson does the same thing.
Looks good.
Looks really good. Kind of tracked to the right side. He hit circle 2 with that drive, so he's going to be sitting pretty up there.
Looks like he might have a tree or two in his way for his putt, but he's not in a bad spot.
Not at all. And a great upshot there from Phil. Really, this hole plays pretty tough for par, which actually it's going to be a running mantra for the entire course. Almost every hole out here ran over par as KO pitches that up. The field averaged above par considerably this weekend. So here on hole 1's no different. Birdie look from Alex. That was a really great looking line. Just need a little extra height on that. Could have put it in. Dawson's our final chance here at a birdie in circle 2. Let's see if we can put it in. Oh, just low.
Good bid, but the hole 1 here is actually, it is 455 feet, so having that small of a gap off the tee, that really was an impressive drive there from Dawson.
Yeah, those holes, those trees do get in your mind when you're trying to drive off the tee, so sometimes you don't commit to getting the right pop on the disc, and so you can easily lose out on distance. As we clean up here around the hole, think we got everyone here looking to just tap in a par. No OB strokes, and that's really key. You want to stay away from the left side that has OB pretty close to the fairway.
This hole seemed to be a significant downhill slope as well, so
It is.
It
It's about
seems
20 feet.
probably really easy to put a little bit too much nose up on your disc and
You can let it slip away from you pretty easily.
Mhm.
So with that, we are going to move on to hole 2. It's a 580-foot par 4 as Phil tees off here. He's just wanting to push a drive about bone dead straight through that gap, about 260 feet, and then it breaks over to the right about 30 degrees from this fairway. And it looks like Phil's done a pretty good job of that. Being on the left side of this opens up the turn a little bit, so if you get too far right, you're going to be pinched off and you'll have to just pitch around the corner. So a lot of these fairways out here at Northwood Black, if you don't truly make the landing zone, you're not able to make the turns. So you're just going to have to use a stroke to get around the corners.
how far do you think the top of that hill is?
It's about 220 feet to the crest of the hill, but like I said, you want to push it to about 260.
So a lot can happen once you lose sight of your disc here.
Yeah, but really the key thing here is that tree that KO just barely nicked there. That and then the tree on the right side of the gap. If you hit those and go off to the rough, you are struggling to finish this hole. Alex, form commentary right now. I really appreciate Alex's simplicity and the way he executes his shot. He really just aligns his body where he wants to go, keeps everything closed off until he just wants to pull the disc through the power pocket and launch it. He's looking pretty consistent.
Looks like you pulled that a little bit.
Yeah, that's not what you want. He's just pitching up to the landing zone now, having to spend a stroke and maybe potentially lose some if he doesn't execute very well. He looks to be lining up the backhand.
Yeah, you said that you actually want to be a little bit left down the fairway on this one, so he really seems to be in about the worst spot you can be.
Come on, man.
Hitting another tree there as well.
Yep, and he's back to having to pitch around the corner again. And that's the danger here, so. All right, let's take a look at KO's forehand. This is his first one of the round.
Nice and easy.
He pushes it to the far side of the fairway. It looks like he gets lucky and it kind of kicks back to fairway, so that's, I think, going to be in an okay spot. He'll be able to approach from there. Dawson. Yep, just pitching around the corner, not able to squeeze out too much distance just with the way the fairway's shaped. Phil actually in a great spot here, lining up a backhand. Let's see what he does. Leaks it left a little bit, yeah. And Guardian Tree is about 60 feet away from the basket. You catch any one of those, you're just looking to pitch up and not lose any more strokes.
Started out nice. Props to him. He really sent that one on a pretty strong bid to. It seemed like run it, but.
Yep. So Alex is in prime location here. He just wants to push this disc about 240 feet. The basket's slightly downhill with respect to him, so we'll see how he attacks it. Looks like a mid-range in his hand. Pipes in a little bit of hyzer right through the meat of the gap, and
Nice.
yeah, that was a well-executed shot there. And we're back to KO on the left side on the second leg. Doing another forehand. I don't believe the forehand is KO's preferred scramble method, but yeah, hangs it out left.
Really, back to Alex's approach, though, that is a very, that can be a very difficult shot to take, just a nice and easy and relaxed straight shot at the basket when you could, you don't have a lot of room for a big hyzer or any flex shot in the woods here, so that really was a really fantastic approach shot from Alex.
Absolutely. Dawson hangs it out right, and on that note as well, like I said, the ground play here is so complicated. Having good footwork for your run-up. It gets hairy with it as muddy as it is, so Phil pitches it up. KO in circle 2.
Seems like the ground is giving a little bit of ground play, though.
Yeah, here in the leafy areas, there'll be some quick ground play, but when you can catch some of those mud patches, it sits it down pretty quickly. So KO just kind of hanging it up there, maybe giving that a half bid. That's good pop from Dawson, swinging a bogey here on hole 2. Good pop on both of those putts. Yeah, and common theme here, if you want to be performing well, you have to have a strong putting game. You can't let anything within circle really slip out of your reach. You got to take advantage when you're able to get to the green.
There you go.
Good smooth stroke from Phil. Carding a par. That's a good one. Good one to get.
Oh, wow.
And a very hairy birdie from Alex.
He's smiling. He knows it.
Yeah, he played that hole well. All right, we're at hole 3, a 604-foot par 4, super challenging tee shot. It kind of bends right to left before hooking up really hard, at the very end. Trying to just push a force over forehand down there if you're a righty, if you can. Otherwise, you just want to play just to this big tree in the middle of the fairway. About 300 feet, and then it bends hard to the right. This is a very interesting hole.
For how long these holes play, these gaps might not look that
Flared early.
small on camera, but with how hard you have to throw these things and from the tee spot, that the gaps here are just insane.
Yeah, and the gap continues all the way down this first leg of the fairway too, so it gets kind of crazy. So Phil definitely got through a little bit early. We'll see what he has when they get to his lie. Oh, KO really letting an early release go. It looks like it buries itself pretty deep in there.
Brush that one off.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
You can't let the trees get to you on this course.
Especially hole 3, there's a lot of golf to be played and a lot more dangerous fairways out there too. So
That's not a great.
Dawson just following KO. I will mention I believe Dawson really does like the power forehand. He leans on that pretty well. Oh, we had a quick throw here. I don't think we catch the result. Just trying to pitch out there. It looks like Phil. I mean, he had a window. Yep, a window to get down there. That's not bad at all. I think that's an easy up and down to get a par from him. Yeah, Alex is still even on the inside of this gap. You want to be on the left side of this tree from our perspective. Oh man, he's getting aggressive. I don't know where that landed. Maybe too
Didn't
aggressive.
seem like it ended too bad for him. He didn't connect with any trees early on, so.
Mm-hmm. Dawson.
Attempt at a roller there, or
It was a forehand roller, yeah. It looked like he was trying to get on a little bit of cut before it flips over and heads down towards the basket. So once we get down to this second leg of the fairway, we have to, drive about 200 feet to that big tree that KO just faded out right in front of. Basket's on the backside of that, about 10 feet downhill. It's a very interesting green. I do like this hole. It's challenging even from the shorts position. This is definitely a tough hole. All right, we got Alex. Yeah, you want to go just around that tree that he hit the ground right next to. Yep, Phil giving us a look at the basket. Phil Detmeyer, our cameraman, appreciate him very much. He's not a disc golfer himself, but he spends a good amount of time on the disc golf course helping me get some coverage for you guys. So, oh yeah, Phil just pitching it down there. That's a great result. He'll be able to card his par. Dawson giving that pop down the hill. Yeah, we got off the fairway a couple times here for a couple of the card mates, so just trying to get the basket and
Hit one of those trees, it's gonna roll right to the basket.
stop the bleeding if you can. KO here. Looks like he's got a tight gap. Oh, that little dark twiggly tree right on the backside catches his attempt. Oh, Phil leaving this one a little wide, furthest from the basket on the green, but he's got a strong putt. Yeah,
Good strong finish.
yeah, that's a great par. It's a very, very good par.
You really are playing for. Well, you should always be playing for birdie or better, but it seems like on this course, par really isn't too bad. Birdies are very rare.
I will disagree, though. I mean, here on Northwood's Black Long, par is a perfectly admirable score. I will mention here on the front nine, there's no specific hole that's out of... It's too crazy. As we come here to hole 4, 637-foot par 4, another challenging hole. There's no hole on this course that doesn't come under par. Let me see here. Sorry. It looks like we have
5.
2 holes. Holes 5 and hole 16 came under par today. But there are 2 holes on this course that averaged under par.
Mm-hmm.
Phil hanging a drive that's really far left. Well off the fairway here. Sorry for our distracted commentary, but we're trying to just process all of this. This par 4 here, you definitely want to kind of just throw a straight shot about 330 feet, and then you'll bear left a little bit over the bridge, and the basket's on a very interesting mulched green. So we'll see that as we get down the fairway. Hopefully cleanly here. Oh, Dawson. It looks like he's been pulling his backhands to the right a little bit, and his forehands have been picking early too, so let's see if we can get back on track, recover from that.
KO giving us a little tap dance serenade there before his tee off. Getting all the mud off his shoes.
Yeah, a little friendly tip here as well. Courtesy is definitely big with disc golf. If you have mud on your shoes, make sure you tap it off and don't leave mud on the tee pad for other people. Not saying that KO did, but just a concern there. KO hanging that right, and it looks like he dances back out to the fairway a little bit, so you might be able to stretch out and
It was almost
have a good shot.
really well placed. Seems like he got a little bit more turn out of that disc than he wanted to.
Like I mentioned, the wind's present here, and with all of the foliage gone, it's not ultra protected here, but you know, we're not quite as affected by the wind, but there are some wind tunnels on some of these fairways, and it looks like Dawson just gets up back into play on the fairway.
It's an impressive scramble. He's pretty deep in the woods there.
Yep. No OB to speak of on this hole, so he's good. Oh, lining up the forehand here. You're not truly playing woods golf without laying down any forehand rollers. And he dances to the left side of the fairway, so going back and forth. Yeah, that was a great recovery shot from Dawson. It looks like he's just lining up a force-over forehand. Oh, good pop. Actually turned a decent amount. Okay. He's on the far side of the bridge, so he might be able to play from there. Oh, man.
Phil's doing some volunteer tree work for him out here.
Yeah.
Off the clock.
Most definitely. Just a little point of conversation here for you guys. Once again, we're talking about rules here. A PDGA sanctioned event. There is a fine line between what things you can move and can't. I'm not saying that Phil didn't do anything wrong there, just mentioning that sometimes there are things that are big enough you should just leave them, because it actually does come into play with other people's throws. So I know it's dead and unattached, but kind of leave the course how it plays if you can. So yeah, it looks like KO just kind of pitches a backhand high, lets it fade over to the green. I think he'll be doing just fine over there.
Alex just shy of the water here.
Yeah, this was an interesting spot. this creek plays as casual. It's not OB, so any disc that lands in the water, you can either A, choose to play it from inside the water, or you can move it back on straight line to the next playable surface.
Oh.
Oh,
He's in the water there.
he's in the water again. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay, and we see here they're deliberating on where he needs to take his shot from. So they're drawing a line right there. You see, Alex, this creek bends in a way. If you're in the middle of the creek right there next to the bridge, you have to either play it from right there where the disc is in the water, or you back up like 100 feet.
And that
so
creek is not OB on this hole.
it's not OB.
So he could stand in the water, but he's also right under the bridge, so
Yeah.
that would not benefit him whatsoever.
Looks like the card agrees on a favorable location for him. He loses about, 25 feet, but he has an opportunity to just pitch it up there.
I don't know if he could even necessarily see the basket from where he was standing. The bridge might have been blocking it.
Through the rails, yeah.
So,
There you go.
All right. We have Dawson. Yeah, this is an interesting one. He's having to do kind of like a pitch putt over the rail here. That's definitely in his way.
Get it!
Wow. Good
What a
hit.
scramble!
Good shot, dude.
I don't
What a
even know if that was
scramble.
circle 2 or not. That was a
What?
pretty crazy putt.
on that much hyzer too, that was... What a great sound to hear when you're scrambling out from a hard spot.
Absolutely. KO. Dropping one in. If you saw that, he pitched up and over a little bush, and it looks like Alex is trying to follow suit here. These little twigs, dead underbrush. And it does the same thing.
Three
Excellent.
really good putts in a row there.
Phil better not screw this up for everyone.
Tester putt for the par finish.
Yep. Yeah. But I mean, this is that putting range, 15 to 20 feet. You got to be nailing these every single time if you want to be keeping strokes off your game here out at Northwood Black. So, all right, with that, we hop over to our shortest par 4 on the course, hole 5, 451-foot par 4. You're just wanting to, once again, just follow Alex. You want to pitch to the far side of those logs laying in the fairway. It's about 230 feet, and then it takes a hard 90-degree bend to the left, and then a left to right moving shot as you get up there to the green. This is a very technical hole that definitely doesn't have to challenge you for distance, but it definitely forces you to have the right shots and either take a very lucky poke through the bend on your second shot, or just play it how it's designed.
Statistically speaking, the easiest hole on the course.
Yeah, as I
And
meant-
still not easy.
Yeah.
So,
There, like I
a
said,
couple of birdies on
yeah.
this hole.
There's enough credit for stability.
so Phil definitely leaves that early left. It's a danger spot. Really, there's no safe spot to be other than the landing zone here. If you're any short, you're most likely taking a par. The only way is to poke and pray through the rough on the left side, try to cut the bend off.
Looks like he left it a
Heading
little
left, yeah.
high.
It's definitely going too far left. We'll see where he ends up. Yeah, so as I mentioned before, Olsen, not having played this course, you'll see definitely where some of the challenges are here. If you're not getting off the tee, if you're pulling your shots left or right, and you're not able to squeeze, 300 feet down the fairway and land in the middle, you're really not able to score or protect yourself against bogeys, we'll say that. Because pars out here is scoring, to be honest. All right. Yeah, that looks like it might be a little early. Once again, 3 players early and left. Ooh, looks like Phil actually got a kick out here to the fairway. He's trying to do the poke and pray play. throws it.
Really giving that a bid.
He misses everything. That's crazy.
Can't ask for much more out here.
No,
Another forehand roller. Just trying to get through and get stopped by the barrage of twigs. Ready to slap down every dish you throw out here.
Yeah. Yeah, so this basket goes uphill from the landing zone, which Alex is actually in. Is a good spot to be. Has to put it really high to get the disc to get the distance and to move to the right. Dawson actually wasn't in a bad spot. He actually was, great spot, and he pitches that up, I think, right underneath the basket. That was a good play. He played this hole pretty well. It's definitely deceiving off the tee. Sometimes you think you're in a good spot in the landing zone, and then you're either too far or too short and left. And then it's like a very small 10-foot radius circle.
Oh, wow.
From deep downtown.
Putt from Phil.
Just doing the Anthony Barella walk it in. There you go.
It's a great birdie, but that is not how most of the birdies on this hole go. That was a very impressive putt from Phil.
Let's not breeze over KO's tight uprights putt. He was trying to pitch between those two trees. Gets it. Strong birdie from Dawson. Playing the hole how it's meant to be. I think Alex will also clean up his parked birdie. Oh yeah. Well done.
3 birdies?
3 birdies. That was excellently played by the card. All right. So we're here at hole 6. This is actually the hardest hole of the front 9, playing almost a full stroke over par. We'll see exactly how these players tackle it, but it looks like Alex had a little bit of an errant tee shot, clipped some trees. We'll see if he's in a good spot to recover. Phil lining up a backhand. Really, the theme of this course is to play as dead straight of shots as possible to get to the landing zones and then find a new gap every single time. You don't ever play this course the same way twice. So it looks like a turnover shot. It doesn't quite turn it over enough. He's going to fade out early and left. That's
getting the distance.
Definitely, yeah. Shaving off distance here is going to help. He's definitely not in a position where he can get a lot of distance around the corner on his second shot, if even to the bend. We'll see what he can do from there. All right.
Getting 200 feet on a hole out in the woods like this can be difficult enough. And this hole's asking for close to 200 on every shot to even make par. So getting a nice shot down the middle and missing trees on your drive is crucial.
You gotta subtract a stroke, my dude. So you're throwing in a 200-foot fifth shot if you use that calculation.
Very well.
So, yeah.
Stand corrected.
So 300 feet, that's a solid
range.
mid-range shot. No wonder we all admire Drew Gibson for slaying this course with really just a buzz. I mean, if you have your mid-range game and some power behind it, that's really what you want to be rocking out here, is just 5 speeds and slower and always ensuring that you're going to land in the fairway. That's a way for you to play this game. A little bit turned over here from KO. Oh, good kick back to the fairway. That's a good result. Cutting off maybe 300 feet on this hole. Like I said, really all you want to do.
Looks like KO needs to maybe try to put a little bit more hyzer on some of his backhands. It seems as though he's slightly turned over more than he's intended on all of his backhands. He has been predominantly forehand this round, but that one looks good.
Definitely for distance, he likes to lean on his backhand, and it's perfect. Aside from this ground play, so he wasn't quite far enough to make the bend. If you can still see the disc on the ground play, that means you're short. So he's short and in the bend, so he'll have to scramble pretty well to try to get any distance around that. Oh, that was
a low shot there. That was looking to be pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He'll be in the middle of the fairway, though, so he should be able to make that corner without much of an issue. Oh. I've done that myself, Phil. I've done that myself. I'm just trying to pipe this gap he's created for himself on some hyzer.
There you go, Phil. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, yeah. He's making the bend, maybe pushing a little straight. Yeah, we see those little branches there on the far side. He made the bend. Pushing a little too far is not too bad, especially here in the winter time. Having no foliage, he can recover from there, pitch up to the basket. Oh, man.
Letting it go a little too high there.
I think he was planning for that. A play is to just give your disc some air and allow it to carry around the corner, but you run that risk of hitting some of the small stuff up top, and it looks like Alex is trying to follow suit. It looks like he gets at least to the corner.
Stalled up, otherwise I
know.
like.
Yeah. Dawson really in a tough place. When I'm here, I always put a forehand roller around the turn, but even so, that's too aggressive, and he's going
Really going for it.
ham on this. Oh, that was a redirection to the far side of the fairway, and he's going to be on the backside trying to scramble back up to the basket.
It's going to be a hard par for Dawson at this point.
Yep, so I do what KO does here, and it looks like he makes the bend, and he's still rolling down there. So I think he's going to be in a good position. I forget if he's looking for par now. I believe he's trying to get up and down for his par look. Yep.
Still trying to have a positive attitude here on his scramble. That is just not the sound you want to hear.
He's already heard it once before earlier on the hole, so really hurts to hear that, but it's not the end of the world.
Missed it? Man, that was so close.
I lost track of that as he threw it. It didn't hit early out of his hand, so he pushed down there. I think he might be a little long.
Oh, you didn't turn it at all.
Oh, a force over forehand that
big?
wasn't forced
Big?
over enough.
Okay. That stinks.
Me or you, Dawson?
You're mentioning that positive mindset, just trying to talk positively to yourself. That is actually, I will say, an essential part of your game when you're out here. Is just try to keep yourself in a good mind space, so that you're not berating yourself and
Yeah.
bleeding strokes when your mind's not in the right place.
It really is so discouraging to connect with trees, especially as often as you will out here. So it is monumental to, at the very least, not be too hard on yourself and just treat every shot as a new one, and look forward to the next one if you mess up one, and you gotta keep
Oh
a
my
good
gosh.
mindset.
Yeah, great putt from Alex there in circle 2. Yeah, you and I need to start practicing what we preach, because when I'm out here, that's the last thing I'm trying to do is to be positive about certain
Yeah.
things. So, oh man,
Well, we're the commentators, so we can be a little more critical.
the world is our oyster. We get to paint the picture we want.
Yeah, I've never gotten mad at a tree in my life.
Yeah, definitely not.
I thank them when I hit them.
Oh, strong putt from Dawson. Good jumper.
Oh, wow.
KO wanting to test the upper parts of the chain assemblies here, just to make sure that they're holding themselves together. It goes in. That's the end game.
Phil really needs to finish strong on this one here.
Like I said, I mean, I don't think he's been parked at all today. It's not a true tester for this caliber of player. It's a 12-footer, but still. A double bogey, not the end of the world here. But he'll definitely want to be able to make some strokes up on some other holes. And a double for Dawson, too. I think that goes to show, KO and Alex, stayed in the fairway, and they were able to keep at least one stroke, if not two, better than the other two. So really that's a testament to what your game needs to be. And there's a hard 3 to get here on hole 7. KO hit way too early. If you're hitting a tree, you want to hit the trees in the middle of the fairway about 250 feet down, not 100 feet off the tee pad. So you'll be scrambling. This is kind of what you want to do. Hits the meat of the gap, does turn it a little too much, but he'll at least
looks like
have
he
it
fought
down.
through those trees though. He might finish out there in the middle of the fairway still.
Yeah, this fairway definitely is finicky. It's one of my, I'd say, lesser favorite holes on the course. It's one of the few I could actually birdie if I get lucky, but it has to look like the backhand shot has to be a shank to the right to find one of the gaps to get you down to the basket, or it has to be a really, understable mid-range that hyzer flips through one of the gaps on the left-hand side. And these gaps did open up a little bit. I think a couple trees were pulled out of this fairway since last year. Phil, I think he's in the fairway. I saw at the tail end of its flight hit the ground early, but Phil, the cameraman, needs to find a better spot. But yeah, I mean, this one is definitely a strange hole. It's really tough to gain access and truly, get a solid putt for birdie. But I mean, you just want to throw your shot and hope you get lucky around the circle 2 area where the guardian trees are. So Dawson going on a forehand. If you have a good controlled forehand, this is a pretty decent play here.
So he turned that one over a little too much, and that does not seem like a good spot to be.
No. It's a similar challenge to even where KO is now. So KO essentially having to re-tee, and there's no good fairway here, so he is definitely conceding the bogey. Yeah, like we said here, this entire course, one of the hardest in the world, arguably. But, I mean,
Dawson fighting through there off the knee. Not much to complain about on that one.
no. Just play some clean golf. It looks like Phil's doing that. He turfed his a little bit, but
Nice.
yeah, forehand chipper down there to the green. He should have one of those 15-footer testers for his
Looks like he's
par.
parked right behind a tree though, so he might have to put a little finesse on it.
Oh, wow. Way to work a jump and
Yeah.
putt. That's pretty cool to see. KO maybe giving this a soft bid to save his par. Puts it high enough. Oh, I think that was a good line.
It was a good line.
Just needed to
Need
eat
to
another Wheatie in the morning.
carry a little bit more.
Good par from Dawson. That was quite a scramble back there.
That's on the fairway behind us? The hole we just played?
Yeah, so just a couple shout outs here while we're cleaning up here on hole 7. Hole 4, we did have a birdie on that one by our very own Gary Patton. That's a solid score for that hole. And then hole 6, the par 5 here on the front 9, we had Adrian Chevalier parting the only birdie on the round. And this is of a 29-person field, so not the biggest MPO field we've had on a round here on this course, but definitely sizable for this early on in the year. I'm excited to see how this course plays for the rest of the season. So jumping to hole 8, a 307-foot par 3. We'll note this is the alternate layout that has not yet been advertised for Ledgestone. It's the ladies' basket, which is still challenging enough. All of this OB on the right-hand side, drop zone right there with the orange flags. It's pretty, and it's fun to try and toss when you're, playing casual rounds, but in tournaments, this can eat you alive and eat one of your discs. You could easily lose it in the OB on the right-hand side that you're having to throw over. This entire ravine plays OB. And
This is one of a very crucial birdie to get here if you can. It is, well, coming up to the end of the front 9 here at Northwood Longs, Black Longs. Hole 9, not a single birdie So
Oh, why are you spoiling it for us, man? You're jumping the gun.
jumping the gun.
We haven't even finished teeing off hole 8. Okay. But let's not breeze over Dawson's throw. I'm still admiring that orange disc puring the gap, and KO hits a little early, but he gets a favorable kick. It seems whenever I kick right into the ravine and take an OB stroke, go to drop zone. But Phil just doing a jump putt here from just in front of the drop zone without the OB stroke. That's always a good play. Play it clean. Ooh, kind of elevators down.
Perfect timing.
Scaring the basket a little bit. Looks like KO's challenged a little bit. That one tree hanging over his line right there between him and the basket. I don't think it was quite in his way, but I think it was in his mind. So, just kind of concedes the par. Oh, yeah, and that's the scary part of being on the left side of that basket. You run that putt a little hard, as you see that retaining wall right there is only 10, 12 feet away from the basket. If you airball that, you're definitely going across those OB stakes you see just behind him. Cleaning up a handful of pars here. And a tap-in birdie with Dawson. That was a great play. Alright, so as we get into hole 9, I want to thank you guys for joining us here. We still have a whole nother 9 of good golf to come in the next video, so stay tuned. We have that for you coming shortly. But here, hole 9, it's last hole of the front 9, 732-foot par 4. This is a challenging hole, not going to lie, as Olsen already spoiled.
I did not.
Yeah, you did. No birdies on the day, but we'll see what these guys do.
No birdies on the day. What?
That's what you said, dude. And that's what I'm confirming right now.
Yep, another hole that is averaging about a stroke over its par.
Yeah, I mean, the shot shape here is difficult. These guys are throwing over a blind hill. It's about 15-foot rise, and you want your disc to just barely crest it if you're wanting to push for that distance. So, I mean, even that one from Alex, he puts it a little too high, and he fades out left. That's going to be a hard place to scramble from. You want this disc to be turning over and never really fade out, but you're throwing uphill. So it's just one of those difficult shot shapes, difficult disc selections. Yeah, it's rewarding emotionally if you execute the right shot here. And backhand is a great way to get up there. Forehand is definitely feasible too. This looks, I mean, it was a good shot shape. If it was lower, it would have kept turning, and that's the shot for the hole, but Phil leaves that little high, and it fades out early left, just like Alex's. KO looking to line up the turnover too.
Yes, sir.
That was the disc he threw off the tee for hole 6, and it looks like it turns over a little early. But you should be fine. Being on the right side of the fairway, so long as you're just barely off the fairway, should be fine.
These blind uphill shots are just so challenging because you need something that's going to get you to the top of the hill and not send you too far left or right, but you also don't want something crushing it past to where it's putting you off the fairway once you do get over the hill as well.
That was an excellent shot from Dawson, cutting it around the corner. So, I mean, if you're standing on the tee and you're walking the fairway, it moves from left to right as you're going uphill, and then a hard turn to the left and then dead straight. And Dawson flexes that forehand around the bend, and I think he's in a good spot. KO turfing that a little bit, but he puts his disc like right in the primetime landing spots for our distance throwers on tour. I mean, this is a challenging like 400-foot shot that you need off the tee to get to a location where you can hope to get up and down. And the typical forehand roller goes awry for Alex. He just punches to the far side of the second leg of the fairway. He's going to have to do something interesting over there. And that's a good shot for Phil right there. Throwing a hyzer, he's going to be about 150, 180 feet away from the basket, but able to see it and be able to get up and down. I'm afraid I didn't see where KO's shot just landed, so we'll see where he is. He gets up there, another forehand roller.
Not a roller.
Okay, not a roller. Dawson chipping up here. So again, a chance to see all these players. I do appreciate Dawson's forehand prowess. Definitely, if you can start throwing some straight shots with a forehand, you can play pretty well out here. I think every single hole, wow, has bandwidth to be forehanded, and Phil definitely giving that one a chance. That was a good stroke there, but yeah, Alex definitely has a unique tee box form, or in fact form just in general. But very consistent. I'm excited to see how the rest of the round turns out for him. I think KO has got some craftiness, hence the reason why he's here on this lead card as well. As he lines that up, I think he's had like 3 or 4 great long putting bids that have been online just a little short. So really hope that KO can learn something here today. Strong putt from Dawson. That's the way you want it. I mean, that was a significantly long putt. It had to be like 25 feet. You got to be hitting those.
Yeah, his approach, I think, put him edge of circle 1, if not just into circle 2.
As we clean up here, want to thank you guys once again joining us here for the front 9, back 9 coming up here in a little bit. But with that,
Stick around.
Stick around for us. Yeah, I promise you won't be disappointed. I know what's coming next. Olsen doesn't, so.
I was legitimately trying to bounce them out of the
Round 2 gets crazy, guys. You don't want to miss out.
You know how soft that punt
It's not round 2.
It's round 2 for me.
Okay.
is.
The second round of 9. There we go. All right.
Final round.
Final round,
Back
guys.
9.
All right. So front 9 scores we have. We got Phil at -2, still shooting, below par for the weekend. Is doing great. KO at +2. Alex at even, coming in at even, and then swinging an even for the front 9 is great. And then Dawson being +3. Not gonna be too bad. So thank you guys very much for joining us here for the front 9. Check out the back 9 when it becomes available. And go ahead and leave a comment below. Do you guys appreciate the no commentary that you saw for the advanced card, or do you appreciate the double commentary that we have here with Olsen? Leave that below. We'll check in with you guys soon.
Bye.